When we sold our 8-figure Amazon FBA business, I thought that was the end. After all, we were working hard for over 5 years to get to that point, and I couldn't be more excited. I was 26 years old at that time, and I was about to retire. It was my goal since I was 17, to become financially independent before I turned 30. But it was not the end, at least not in the same sense I initially thought. Shortly after the exit, I started researching ways how to retire, how to invest the money so I could just live off the investments. And since I'm personally quite frugal, I had no plans to buy anything fancy, so nothing really changed. The only thing that actually changed was that I had quite a lot of time, maybe even too much time. So I went to the gym, I read my book, I played the guitar, played board games with my friends, but that was pretty much it. So as a part of my routine, I scheduled regular calls with some of my friends that were still selling on Amazon and doing really well, 6-figure, 7-figure sellers. And as I was talking to them on a regular basis, I learned 2 key lessons. The first lesson was that there was a pattern. There was a pattern in the challenges they were facing. All of them knew exactly what they have to do in order to grow their business, but they didn't really have the capacity to do that. And the story was always the same. Time is slipping away, I feel spread too thin. I know I should have a team, but I don't know where to start. And I knew exactly what they were talking about because I was going through the same thing just 2 years ago. So I naturally shared my solution, what we did in our business to solve this situation, how we systemized the business, how we made the business process dependent rather than people dependent. I shared the hiring funnels they could use to find their supply managers, brand managers, and so on. And that's when I learned the second lesson, that not everyone is as obsessed with systems as I am. I've personally always had a spreadsheet for everything. When I was a teenager, I was tracking the hours I was practicing my guitar. Then I started tracking my workouts, my calories, and pretty much everything. So I naturally started doing this in our business as well. And to my surprise, not everyone does that. I met with sellers that were doing 7 figures on Amazon, planning their inventory with just pen and paper. So I simply decided to share with them what worked for us, how we planned our inventory, our internal spreadsheets, our team accountability and team structure. Pretty much everything we used, I shared with them. And then I experienced something that was a complete game changer. I was able to change someone's life just by giving them advice. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean that literally. Some of these sellers were working 40 hours, 50 hours per week, and I just shared the systems we use to manage our supply chain, to forecast our inventory, and I gave them our hiring funnel, how to find their supply manager. And suddenly, after 2 or 3 months, they were working like 20 hours a week. And for me, this was a huge game changer because there was little cost on my end. I just gave them the advice and the tools I already developed, and it had a huge impact on their business and on their lives as well. And as you can imagine, this was very different from Amazon. On Amazon, we had thousands, tens of thousands of customers. So of course, we gathered feedback, we gathered reviews, but at that scale, I was only interested in numbers. I wasn't really reading the reviews. Our brand manager was doing that. So I was monitoring the trends. But when I did this, I was actually able to hear the stories, how my work impacts their lives. So I've learned how good it can feel to leverage my knowledge and experience because I've been doing this for 5 years. So I was able to tell them exactly what to do and how to go through the transformation. And also leverage my natural tendency to tame chaos and create order in everything I do. So a few sellers I worked with had great results. So I immediately asked myself, how can I repeat that? How I can streamline this transformation and make it easier for them? Because as I was talking to more and more people, I've learned that this is really a complex issue. Because you cannot really build a team if you don't have the right systems. And it's hard to develop systems if you don't have the right mindset. And of course, even if you have a team, systems, and mindset, you won't really grow if you don't have the right strategy. So I had to come up with a more comprehensive solution. So I started creating a roadmap. And since I went through the exact transformation myself, I just reviewed my old notes, what we were talking about in our business and how we solved that. And I realized one important thing. If I knew then what I know now, it wouldn't take me a year to go through this transformation. It would take me like 2 or 3 months. So I decided to put this roadmap into practice and work with more and more sellers. And I also started experimenting. I started this YouTube channel to get out of my comfort zone and actually see how people react to these topics. I got interviewed on a few podcasts and I was invited to speak at conferences. And to my surprise, no one is really talking about these topics. So I was curious, why is that? Are people actually interested to learn how to build systems, how to develop processes, and how to build a team? There were dozens of sellers coming to me, sharing their stories, what tools they are using in their business, and what the accountability looks like, what is their team structure, and so on. So I've learned that advanced sellers are truly interested in these topics because they know that it is crucial in order to scale. But most people ask me one question that got me thinking. Why don't I start another Amazon business? I could do it all again. I have the experience, I have the capital to invest, and I could quickly build a team to help me get to 7 figures as quickly as possible. So I sat down with my journal and really thought about this. Why don't I launch another Amazon business? And I realized that the answer is actually quite simple. Because let's say I would scale another business and I would sell it in the next 3 or 5 years. I would basically be in the same situation as I'm in right now. I would just move more money into my investment account and then I would basically have to decide what to do next once again. Because for me, the Amazon business was just a vehicle to get me to the financial independence. So I decided that it was a time to start a new chapter, to switch to an infinite game where the rules are different, when there is no specific end goal, to do something that I could do for years, for the next 2 years, 5 years, or even 10. There is no specific end goal, so I could do that just for the sake of doing that. But there is one big challenge. I would be starting from scratch with a business model I have no experience with. But the good thing about the infinite game is that you have time. You can take your time to figure stuff out. And I did exactly that. It took me over 1.5 years working with sellers and figuring out what is the roadmap that would help sellers achieve the same results as quickly as possible. Which is quite funny when I look back and compare it to a product development cycle in our Amazon business, when it took us like a month or 2 to come up with a new product, comparing it to almost 2 years in my new business. And I finally reached the point where I'm ready to expand, to build my own team so I can help other sellers, not just the ones that are in my personal network. So I launched my new company called Scaleport, where we help Amazon sellers to systemize their businesses and build efficient teams. And launching this company allows me to build my own team and deliver consistent results to all of our clients. So it took me hundreds and hundreds of hours of work perfecting every step, working with dozens of sellers to make sure that I can deliver the results to every single Amazon seller. And I believe that we created something that will change the way people run and scale their Amazon businesses. So if you are an Amazon seller currently struggling with operational bottlenecks, facing issues with systems and hiring, we are here to help you out. We'll help you to tame the chaos of your business and plant you into the owner's seat by sharing the systems, frameworks, and tools we used in our business to scale to 8 figures. We are currently looking for 4 Amazon sellers to help them transform their business in the upcoming months. If this sounds like something that could benefit your business, you can find more details at our website scaleport.io, or you can click the link below and apply. I will see you next week. Bye.